Hey, it's Randy. I just wanted to talk a few minutes to you today. I haven't been on the internet very much lately. Well, that's not true. I've been on the internet, but I haven't been recording videos. And I love recording videos and trying to teach those of you a few things about flipping automobiles. And so today I just decided to donate a few moments of my time to get you more familiar with some of the secrets about flipping cars. I'm having an absolute blast. Now, I've been flipping cars for 40 years or so, and I started out as a professional car salesperson 40 years ago, and I've come through many transformations selling cars. And I'm back to something that I really enjoy. Now, several years ago when I got started, it was a lot of fun at first. It was exciting, and then it got to be a lot of pressure because I started living the lifestyle of a person that was making insane money selling cars, which was back in the late 70s. And so I made a lot of money selling cars, and I lived like made a lot of money. Nowadays, I just flip maybe 4 or 5, now sometimes 7, 8 cars a month. I enjoy working on them. I'm not a mechanic, but I tinker around with the interiors, and particularly changing mirrors and radios and things like that. I enjoy doing, and so now I just have a great life flipping cars because I just have a lot of fun doing it, thanks to Craigslist and thanks to a lot of things that I do about flipping my personal cars. I don't work that hard. As a matter of fact, I wouldn't call what I do work at all because I enjoy it so much. But at any rate, I want to go over a couple of things with you about some secrets that I've learned even recently after 40 years. There's some recent secrets I've come up with. Number one, now in flipping cars, I want to point out to you that what you should do is pick you out a certain brand or a year model, a model of vehicles that you like working with, that you're familiar with. I particularly care about minivans. I flip a lot of minivans. I look for minivans when I first go to the auction. Now, the reason for that is they're family-oriented vehicles. They ride very good. I've become very familiar with particularly the Dodge Caravan. I know a lot about Dodge Caravan because I've bought and sold so many of those in the past few months or few years actually. So I'm pretty knowledgeable in the things that can go wrong and the cost and everything related to getting a minivan up and ready to sell. They're good merchandise to sell, but more importantly, I know that I can buy them right and turn around and pretty well know all the codes in them, or not all the codes, but the things that I would have to spend in getting a minivan up and decent to sell. Today is October 8th, 2012, and I'm working on a couple of projects right now that I think are very interesting when it comes to flipping vehicles. As I mentioned, I like minivans, and last week I was at a car auction, and actually something rare happened. And a lot of people ask me at car auctions about what do you think this car is going to be worth. Well, number one, I tell you, you just never know. When you're going to a car auction, sometimes you can get ridiculously low buys. Sometimes you see cars that go through that the retail customer wouldn't buy because they're just so expensive. So you got to remember that these are auctions, and you never really know what a person's willing to bid for a particular item at an auction. The biggest misconception out there is that the book puts value on these vehicles, and that is not true at all. The book is just a summation of what the vehicles in general have brought through a variety of auctions. They just take the post-auction sales and actually formulate a average price on certain vehicles. So you just never really know. The final bid is what buys the vehicle, and it will not necessarily reflect that the vehicle was worth the amount paid. It was needed by the individual or desired by the individual bidding on it. Now, last week in particular, I bought two Dodge Caravans, and the ironic thing was about them is they were just incredibly cheap, but they did need some work on them. And so this is some type of vehicles that I like to look for, is the vehicles that need some work on them. And the reason that I specialize again in Dodge Caravans is because I've got so much experience in a mechanic and myself. We team together very well on these Caravans, and we do know a lot about what we're doing when it comes to repairing a Dodge Caravan. So anyway, I bought two of them at the sale last week, an '05 and an '07. The '05 had 118,000 miles on it, which by today's standards are considered a low mileage vehicle. But it ran very, very rough, and the hood on it was beat up, and so the tires were just absolutely worn out. I mean, the vehicle had the makings of being a decent vehicle, but it was really not a desirable vehicle going through the auction. So a 2000 Dodge Caravan right now, again, according to the book, this vehicle is worth anywhere from, and this was a Grand Caravan, worth anywhere from $2,400 being on the rough side to a high up around $6,000 for the miles on it. So that's a pretty wide spread. Going through that vehicle, when it went through the lane, I actually jumped on it. What by that means, when I say I jump on a vehicle, I bid on it. That doesn't mean I made up my mind to have it. I wanted the vehicle under $2,000. I had already done my pre-inspections on it, and I thought, well, I might be able to get this vehicle for under $2,000. And sure enough, the final bid on it, I won at $1,600. So I was okay with that. That gave me a spread up to $4,400 that I could have invested in the vehicle and still make a profit on it. So I drove the vehicle straight to my mechanic, and we went to work on it. And even, I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself there, because about 12 vehicles later, here come the exact same vehicle in a 2007. I mean, same color and everything came through the lanes. So I decided, well, one of these will make an excellent donor vehicle for the other one, not knowing which one was going to be the better of the two. But anyway, I bought it, and lo and behold, it was about $1,600. So I wound up with both vehicles, fees and everything, leaving the auction at about $3,500 or $3,600 for both vehicles. So I really hoped, okay, well, surely I can take the two of them and make one, and that's what I did. And the '07 turned out to be my donor vehicle. I'm going to show pictures of them a little bit later on, but it was my donor vehicle, and I was able to make a very nice 2005, which I'll flip for a very good profit. In addition, I still have a decent donor vehicle that may bring what I paid for it back through the auction.